The topic for this video is an integrated financial plan. This is a conclusion video. Really, it's the last one that ties everything together that we've been looking at previously in terms of the financial planning frameworks and processes, the 6 competency areas and the 12 topic areas, etc., as part of the video series on integrated financial planning, developing effective financial plans. Well, this is the last video because it's all about the integrated financial plan. So I'll just do a quick little review for the benefit of people who perhaps have not looked at the previous videos but want to know something about the integrated financial plan. Okay, so we always start the videos with a quick review of the 6 financial planning components or areas. Number 1 is financial management. Number 2 is investment planning. Number 3 is insurance and risk management. Number 4 is tax planning. Number 5 is retirement planning. And number 6 is estate planning. And indeed, we have individual videos for each of these financial planning components where we look at the process of going through the collection of information, the analysis, and ultimately the recommendation in the integrated financial plan, which is the topic for this video. So again, when we're going through the collection phase for information for each of these 6 areas, we gather and prepare quantitative information, we gather the qualitative information. From that collection phase, we move into the analysis, which is 2 parts. Part number 1 is assesses the client situation. Number 2 is considers and evaluates strategies. And that analysis leads into the recommendation, where we develop recommendations to help optimize the client situation. So we do each of those steps of the process for each of these financial planning areas. And indeed, the professional competency profiles can be found on the FP Canada website, which I'll show where do we get this data from into this PowerPoint slide. It's from a document, PDF document free to the public, where they have the professional competency profile. We're looking at the profile that's effective for January 1st, 2020. So you can see here's the area of financial management, investment planning, insurance, and risk management. And on the second page, we have the tax planning, the retirement planning, and the estate planning and legal aspects. So just quickly, where did we get that from the FP Canada website? I'm going to show that next. So here we are on the homepage of www.fpcanada.ca, the homepage for FP Canada. If we just scroll down to the bottom, and then on our left-hand side, we can click here on competency profile, and you can see there's one that's in effect until December 31st, 2019. But most of my students and the viewers of this video probably going to be more concerned with the competency profile that becomes effective January 1st, 2020, and that is indeed what I'm using in my videos. And I'm just using this graphic overview, which I download and cut into paste to PowerPoint for the convenience of recording the videos. Okay, so there's the 6 financial planning areas. In Canada, in addition to the 6 financial planning competency areas, there's also 12 topic areas, which is considered to be the financial planning body of knowledge, the FP-BOK, financial planning body of knowledge, 12 topics. Number 1, financial planning profession and financial services industry regulation, so basically regulations. Number 2, financial analysis. Number 3, credit and debt. Number 4, registered retirement plans. Number 5, government benefit plans. Number 6, registered education and disability plans. Number 7, economics. Number 8, investments. Number 9, taxation. Number 10, law. Number 11, insurance. And number 12, human behavior. Again, just going to jump quickly to the website and see where we can gather more information about the financial planning body of knowledge in those 12 topics. So here we are again at the home page of www.fpcanada.ca, and if I scroll down partway through the page, you can see that I get to here, featured resource, financial planning body of knowledge. So again, we're talking about these 12 topic areas. I can click on here to explore the body of knowledge. And so, for example, when we get in, let's look perhaps at investments. Just one second, going to scroll down. There we go. Number 8, investments. We can scroll down, and it's always interesting to see there's a column with rows of topics and then 2 columns. Column number 1 is the level 1 certificate, which effective January 1st, 2020 is the QAFP. This is the level of knowledge required. So you can see here For investments, pretty much everything is required at the level 1 or QAFP level, and CFP professionals only, see everything is covered off at level 1. Now, if we're looking at taxation, we would see that there's many items that are here at the CFP professional only. So if you're just interested in getting to that first level, the level 1 certificate or the QAFP, you want to be concerned with this first column in all these topic areas. And then indeed, if we look at a topic area, for example, investment risk and return, we can click down, we can read more, we can read more. This is going to give us our learning outcome statements. So if I want to look at the learning outcome statements for measurements of investment return, I'm going to click here. I'm going to scroll down, and you can see I need to define the investment return. It doesn't say calculate. Define variables that impact the calculation of investment return, explain how each variable used in the calculation affects investment return, and then you need to know the different types of investment returns, such as nominal, real, effective annual return, expected, realized, after tax, real after tax, risk-free. So there's lots of knowledge. These videos are just going through the framework in terms of learning all the content for these to satisfy these learning outcome statements. Again, you'd have to be taking some kind of course, and this is good because these are the command words for learning outcome statement. When it says compare, compare means to note the similarities and differences between two or more things. Okay, so in summary, not only the 6 financial planning areas, we need to be familiar with the 12 topic areas, knowledge topic areas as well. Okay, in addition to all the knowledge that you need to know in terms of the content of the 6 financial planning areas and the 12 topics, financial planners are also expected to have certain skills. And I'm not going to go through these in tremendous detail because we have a video dedicated to the FB Canada professional skills. This is just a quick review to remind you that there are critical thinking skills, there are interpersonal and relationship skills, there are communication skills, and there are teamwork and collaboration skills. The teamwork and collaboration skills I mention in videos from time to time, because if we look at a financial planner as the hub or the core that has a satellite of some professionals that need to be called upon from time to time for expertise, then that requires teamwork and collaboration. Indeed, we can see 3 professional skills that a financial planner is required to have is recognizes when to refer qualified professionals to provide the necessary expertise, works with other professionals as appropriate to help implement the financial plan, and coordinates and manages client interactions with other qualified professionals as needed. What does that mean? Let's say you have a client, that is looking at selling their business. That's a liquidating event. They're going to have some cash, needs to be invested and managed. So you might have to call in a certified business evaluator. You might have to have associations with a lawyer or a tax accountant. These are examples of working with other professionals as appropriate to help implement a financial plan. Other examples are insurance companies if the financial planner is not insurance licensed, will, trust, and estate specialist, or dealing with investment custodians on the investment planning and asset management side. Okay, the next thing that I did, if you've watched any of the previous videos on the 6 core financial planning areas, competency areas, you'll know that I just took the columns and rows and I put it into mind map using the mind map software free from Google. So here was the financial management. You can see we go through the collection phase into the analysis, recommendation. So for each of the 6 areas, we gather that quantitative information, qualitative, the analysis, assess the client situation, identify and evaluate strategies, ultimately comes into the recommendation for financial management, and that's going to feed into the integrated financial plan, which is the topic for today's video. So we're not going to go through this in tremendous detail, but you can remember there's financial management, there is the investment planning, again going through the same steps, there's the insurance and risk management, the tax planning, the retirement planning. Recall for 2020 versus 2019, this is where there was changes to the competency profile, significant changes. There's other changes throughout the entire competency profile, but here was some significant changes in terms of the analysis, identifying and evaluating strategies. Similarly, for the estate planning for 2020, there were some changes here in terms of identifying and evaluating strategies. Again, this is way too small to see, but this is my mind map, which I've just cut and paste out of the Google software. Here at the center it says integrated financial plan. So you can see here I've got my financial management, my investment planning, insurance and risk management, my tax planning, my retirement planning, and my estate planning. Those are all the elements that are making up each of the 6 competency area. You can see it adds up to something like, it's over 110 individual elements. And that's why, an integrated financial plan, there's a lot that goes into it, okay? Now, some of this information is being collected electronically and processed electronically, and this is one of the big discussions is the role of fintech in the entire financial planning process. Where is the expertise of the human? Where's the expertise of the machine in handling all this data and helping with develop some of these recommendations and strategies? But anyhow, that's for another topic for another video. So just a quick reminder, this topic video is about integrated financial plans. So in terms of the financial planning in 6 steps, just want to quickly review where are we? We're here. We're developing the financial plan recommendations. We're going to be presenting them to the client, and presumably we're going to be presenting them in some kind of report. So again, the 6 steps for financial planning. Number 1, establish and define the relationship with the client. Number 2, collect the client's information. We saw that there was 2 steps to that, quantitative and qualitative. Analyze and assess the client's financial status. Again, there's 2 steps, and then we're developing the recommendations. Then there's the implementation phase, and finally the review and adjust phase. Okay, so just a quick reminder that fitting in the integrated financial plan in terms of the 6 steps, we're here. Step number 4, where we're developing the financial plan recommendations and we're presenting them to the client in the report. So the next slide is just going to show kind of the outline of a generic draft report. Okay, so what we're going to do is just look at a very basic sample outline of a financial plan. And then here you can see I've got a PDF document, which is RBC Dominion Securities example, generic example from 2008, which we'll perhaps look at just very quickly. Anyhow, so if we look at the sample outline of a financial plan, the first thing is going to have a cover page. Number 2, table of contents. Number 3, copy of the client engagement letter. Number 4, executive summary of the key recommendations and potential outcomes of the plan. Number 5, an investment policy statement and planner overview. And the investment policy statement, that's something that's going to come out of the investment planning phase. Also, details with the financial planner name, contact details, including professional qualifications and types of licenses that he or she or they hold. Information on the remuneration, including commissions. So is it fee-based or commissions through insurance contracts, etc. And benefits the planner may receive in connection with providing the advice or service. Number 6 is a summary of the client profile, goals, financial objectives, financial situation, assumptions, and risk profile. Number 7 is an assessment of the client's risk profile. Moving on here to number 8, we've got the financial planning components, or the areas. And recall there's 6 financial planning components or areas: financial management, investment planning and asset management, risk management, retirement planning, tax planning, and estate planning. Okay, so this sample outline of a financial plan is going to run through those 6 areas. So we've got the first area on financial management, then investment planning and asset management. Again, required risk and return to meet the goals. Quick little brief recant of the investment policy statement, evaluation of the current portfolio, perhaps a recommendation on some changes, and the asset allocation. Moving to the risk management and insurance planning, then we're looking at the life insurance, health and disability, long-term care, property and liability, umbrella, other, perhaps business insurances. Next section, tax planning and optimization, followed by retirement planning and estate and wealth transfer planning. And indeed, we have a video for each of those 6 financial planning components. The next section of the sample outline of a financial plan, after we've gone through the 6 core competencies or 6 areas, would be some specialized analysis that might be client specific. This might cover things like education funding, planning for special needs, refinancing scenarios, or saving for very special objectives. The next section, number 9, is recommendations with alternatives where possible. Number 10 is that implementation and monitoring section. Number 11 is any conflicts of interest should be spelled out. And finally, final section on potential complaint handling procedure. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, so that's just a very basic overview of a financial plan, sort of a generic version. So again, starting cover page, moving through the financial planning components, and then into some specialized analysis, recommendations, some information about implementation, etc. So what we'll do next is we'll just pop open this example of a financial plan courtesy of RBC Dominion Securities that I had in my library. Okay, we're just going to finish this video with a quick example of a financial plan. You can see this is copyright RBC. This was an example that they show. So it's a Compass financial plan prepared for John and Mary Smith. They live in Toronto. It's prepared by a wealth management team, etc. Anyhow, so you can see that's the cover page. We move into the table of contents. This plan is about 40 pages long. We're not going to go through it all, but you can see there's the introduction, financial assumptions, your current financial situation, a look into the future, retirement projections, factors that may affect retirement, your investments, your estate plan, a final word, and then your action plan. Okay, so you can see there's an introduction that's got the goals and objectives of the client, some key findings, and then there's the financial assumptions, the age of the clients, the retirement age, government benefits, income assumptions, defined benefit pension assumptions, lifestyle expenses, other expenses, and then we've got some assumptions with regards to investments, what the returns are for Canadian equities, U.S. equities, perhaps fixed income. We've got some information about insurance. Some asset types, allocation, and historical returns. Then we move into the current financial situation, which is the net worth, which is assets minus liabilities equals net worth. So we're looking at the net worth of the two individuals and perhaps together. Cash flow statement, look into the future. You can see this is from 2008, so these graphs might look a little bit clunky. This is where the role of fintech is coming in. Things are looking more slick, and the data collection is becoming easier. These reports are having different outputs, but I just want to show you that fundamentally technology may be changing, but the process, and the presentation might be changing, but the process has been the same for many years with regards to financial planning. And then, moving into your retirement, some strategies. Again, those are the advice and strategies to consider, recommended actions, converting wealth to income. Again, factors that may affect your retirement. Early retirement is a factor that may affect retirement. Looking at some maximal annual expenses. Market corrections is another factor that may affect retirement. Other risks, talking about investments. This is an asset mix. There's the current asset mix, suggested asset mix. You can see what they're doing, basically reducing Canadian equities and adding U.S. equities, and reducing some foreign equities. Also, the increases coming up in the U.S. equities. That probably wasn't too bad advice for that time, considering how the U.S. market has done since then. Okay, so a little bit of advice and strategies to consider. Here's their model asset mix. This is what they're kind of recommending. And so again, that's a recommendation that would have to be implemented. How would that do? Things would have to be bought and things would have to be sold. Then it moves into finally the estate plan. What does your estate look like right now? What does it look like over time? Who will inherit your estate? And there's a little bit of information about trust, testamentary trust. So that's another area of wealth management that needs to be covered off. When trusts get involved in estate planning. Again, some information about who's liquidating the estate, the duties of an executor, and again, a final word, and that's it. Okay, and then of course it's coming up with the, that's it with regards to the financial plan. Then it's the action plan. So it's it's saying, so there's some information here about retirement, investments, and it's telling you what to do, by whom, and some deadlines. And then, of course, the next phase would be to follow up on some of this. Okay, and so that is really the conclusion for this video that's looking at integrated financial plan. It's where everything's coming together, the 6 competency areas, the 12 topic areas, going through the 6-stage financial planning process, but ultimately it all comes together in some type of financial plan that is presented to the client. Okay. And that is the conclusion for this video. The topic was an integrated financial plan. We've been looking at financial planning frameworks and processes. Indeed, really, this is the concluding video for the series on integrated financial planning, developing effective plans, because we've gone through everything step by step, leading up to it all being integrated into one integrated financial plan. Okay, so thank you for that, and thank you.